Now, hello there, everyone, and now today we're going to be looking at the Mobile Legends. I know, shocker. Anyways, Mobile Legends Phantom Rider. Now, this is the original. Technically, it is the original Ghost Rider before we had Ghost Rider, or around the same timing. It was a cowboy version, and they changed the name later on. Yet again, these characters are like, what is Ghost Rider doing? It's like certain characters have certain names, and they have no idea what they're saying or doing anymore. Even I don't know, and sometimes it's like Marvel later on will release a character at the figure, and they'll change the name up a little bit or completely to really say, oh, it's a different character. It's a whole thing. So yeah, it's a thing that's very strange. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm trying my best with some of this stuff, and also I still need to get more batteries for my light. I'm probably going to go to Sam's to get some batteries. Yeah, they got the big pack for like just like a 48 pack for like $17. I might get like three of those and just change them out, keep some extra, and I don't know. Now let's get into the Phantom Rider and let's see if it's worth adding for your collection and having a reuse of the Sunfire body. I know I hate the part of the reuse, but it happens. Let's look. Now here's the Phantom Rider. Now, as you may know, I don't know much about comics. However, I do know certain characters. Now, this guy is technically the original Ghost Rider back then. And later on, they changed the name to Phantom Rider, but he doesn't have a horse. And one thing I will say before I get to anything else, this is using the Vulcan body. Now, the Vulcan body is owned by them using for many years at this point. The thing is, they need to stop using it. It is redundant that they've been using the same body, especially with the same body. They just changed out the accessories and it's just screw it. Because I can tell, they normally there's a cut right here, and they need to cover it up. Boot right here, same articulation. They just, you know, same cut right here as the arms, and it's so limited. I fucking hate it. And yes, I made a whole new cape for it because I hated the original cape. So yeah, I just made the cut some fabric out and just do like that. Because sometimes I hate doing wide capes. Now I will say you do get a good amount of hands. You do get two trigger finger hands. You can see right here. Well, you get two of them because he get two revolvers on his ass. One open slash reaching hand. I guess you could say. I don't know what's his hand they call it anymore. And two fists, which is actually pretty good. You get two fists. I wish it came with a extra other hand that like this, but it's Marvel. But see, oh no, they had to get the leg for the executioner, which I have not got to read the wave, and probably won't because it's not my problem. And I will say I do like the head because like it does show the dark shadows under his eyes. Because like if they did it, because I think it's on the side of the box. Yeah, on the side of the box, it's normally just like colored. It's just like there's little dark shadows or it's like just straight lines under his eyes, and that's it. But I do like the little detail that they put under the eyes to make it look like it's more dark than it has to be. And like I said, this is a older, or say a more of a classic character that really hasn't seen much, but in some things, which is kind of funny, because technically the Phantom Rider was in Ghost Rider and that came out in 2000s, but it was just Carter. So yeah, and I will say the bell holster is actually pretty good looking and not as white like this. I'm going to take out the cape for this reason, so it might make it easier. Like I said, the Vulcan body is this, or the Sunfire body. And it is very limited in articulation. I know you get to do some cutting in the arms. And I will say, the guns are pretty good looking. These are just your standard Colt revolvers. Which the funny part is, I already have one on my table. That is similar model like this, as you can see. So, especially this part right here, the thing to put on the shelves is literally on there. It's hard to see though. And the way that these things actually function is that when you put the hammer back, it pull back the entire cylinder, and it does open up the side. And when we're low on ammo, that thing hits the ammo, hits the ammunition, and it pops it out. I want to customize this later on to make it a lot more cooler. Maybe make it like when there's a lot of stuff. It's kind of funny. I have a 1911 next to my table. I have a 1911 and a revolver next to me. It's like the two different types, bro. But you do have the two shooting from your hands. They do go in here, but it is really, really snug. Like, it is way too snug for a hand. But you can get in there. It is possible. It just feels awkward. I don't think he can hold it properly. Well, it's the way it's being held. It's like it's at an angle, which I think is too. So the way it's, I'm gonna put my hand in the trigger anyways. It's being held like this, not like this, which is kind of weird angle of a way to hold a gun in terms that I know of, and I have seen ways they're being held. With this one, the way it's held is a little strange, actually. Like I said, it feels like the fingers are not made for this properly. And you can see, no, they're not made for it properly. Come on. Come on. And like I said, it's a little awkward at times to get these into the hand because, like, it feels like it wants to go into the palms, but it can't. But it does look pretty good as a figure. And if you have a custom cape on it, it can look pretty good. The articulation is a little stiff. As you can see, yeah, it can work. With like I said, the hand being a little awkward of an angle, it does work when you have certain things. It looks pretty good, but then other times it kind of looks not the best. And like I said, it's using the same body that they used for Falcon back in the day. Now, it is very stiff. Anyway, it is. And using the whole revolvers go back into the holster, like that. And the eye are snug in there. No matter how much I wiggle it out, you actually can't. It's actually not going to come out. Which is pretty good. I like that part. They can tell you, I have a Joe next to me for this reason, I think. I bought the Joe for a reason. But with this Joe right here, the gun right here, this SMG looking thing, and these hands are stiff. Jesus. Pull that out. Put this in here. And with this one here, it's very loose fitting, so it's fine. I love that part. When you want to record, it doesn't want to come out. But as you can tell, it's very loose fitting in the way that it does them. It's very, look, it's like it's loose when it goes out, but then it holds. But you gotta shake it roughly. How with these revolvers, you don't come out. It's better you don't want them to. Well, it's kind of funny when you give them 1911. Kind of funny. I had the 1911 was next to me, and I got the Cinema magazine. It does work, and it's kind of funny with the Joe weapons. These do fit in the Mobile Legend hands pretty well, and it's funny. It can hold the 1911 much better than the revolvers. That is kind of something I God, that was so funny. Because certain ones don't stay in hand as easily. So as you can see right here, he holds them at like a good fitting versus a improper fitting, which is so strange of a way to to have that. But back to the figure in hand. You do have this ab crunch right here, but due to the belt, no, not due to the belt. I had the belt for a second, but the belt decides down. You can decide it down in case you want to. But and if you did, you would kind of forget the ab crunch or this cut right here of a figure, which is kind of sucks. I'm gonna be honest. The arms are I want to say they're the same as a Vulcan figure, but I can't tell anymore. Vulcan Sunfire body. Like I said, they use these bodies more than once and repeatedly, especially with this hole on top of here. They did that to the Archangel too. For the seven for the 80 97 Archangel. You've been back that far, but not good of an angle. I'm going to be honest with you. Knees, they do bend up to the ass. They do kiss it. And the boot, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the boots are my favorite part because it does bend down a little more like that. And some of it bends up, but not much more than that. The knees are really stiff of a joint. It does have a thigh cut, but I don't have the thigh cuts on this. It is breaking on a figure. Like you can see how much it breaks on a figure. Like it makes it look way worse than it has to be. It looks up that far, down that far, which I gives good range. But the whole neck articulation sucks due to this. But I wish it did with the whole double ball joint thing, what they're doing with some other figures of it's a neck covering up a dung ball joints where it covered the joint up, but then it had to like with that Spider-Man they did something like that. The arms are actually pretty good. They do bend up here to the muscle. Pretty good of a bend. Yeah, go up that high up, which is not the best. It can bend back this far. Yeah, the only way you could do that is by cutting the little thing and making it stretch out a little more. So you can do that. If you want to modify it, yeah, you could. And it does have a boot swivel right here, which is kind of a cool concept, I say. But they've been doing that for many, many years now, so it's not unique to this figure. It is, like I said, old body, and this is a new head, it looks like, to make it work. But that's my own legends for you. Now, size-wise, that's where it gets a little funky. This guy, it's like I said, he's a Vulcan body, and he is about normal height. I didn't bring Legends out on this one today, so that's what I mean. Here's the Act guy from Gundam and Bombi. Stand up. I mean, the weight that I kind of had to discuss was just as strange. And here's the grip. It is bigger than a grip, but I think it's pretty good sizing for a figure. Now, I'd like to get to my final thoughts on this figure. Now, for the figure itself, I think it's actually pretty decent. And I know for it being a reuse of an older body, I don't like that part, but let's be honest here. Marvel Legends will be later on to do a newer variant of the Phantom Rider and maybe give it a different body. To really say, yeah, here's a new version. So give it a few years and Marvel will be like, okay, here's the same character, but just a new body. Or a reuse of a different body that they're going to use later on. That's how Marvel is with some of these, I guess, like Build Figures type of stuff. Or they will have, like, a few different characters. So, because with this way, we have the Iron Man Mark 47, which is technically the new Iron Man suit that came out for the comics at the time, or so it is at the time. The Dark Avengers Spider-Man, which is 600 Spider-Man, which that one has an updated body because the original 600 Spider-Man had a breakable body and it didn't move. You have Werewolf by Night, which is, I think, a reuse. I think it is. Enchantress is technically a little new due to some of the parts being a little different onto a old body, and technically the new figure that they have for this wave is technically the Wolverine World War II Logan, which is a new body they have for it, with his own special parts, hands, and heads. So that one is basically new. I think same with the Iron Man, and same with the Spider-Man for that wave. Everything else is, I think, a reuse of old bodies or figures that have came out in the past. So that it is like half the wave is a reuse, and the other half is technically a new bodies per them. I mean, same with the Executioner. I think it is a redo of a body for Executioner. I could be wrong about that because I think the old one that he had pins in it, and this one didn't have any pins. But I could be wrong about that, and it is very confusing for it. But back on Adventure Rider, I think it's actually pretty good. And for what you get for accessory wise, for being two open hands, one fist, which it came with an extra fist, so you could technically box someone out, which I do like doing that sometimes because certain weapons look better when you just have a hand. Let me get a sample. If I have my 1911, nothing in the chamber. Look, you see, nothing in the chamber. Because sometimes you want to do one-handed with a fist. Now that's normally that I like it to pose certain things, and I mean that's how certain. But I still think the horse is one thing it is still missing to make it the Phantom Rider. It just Phantom. Well, it just Carter, and I will say Carter being here without the horse, it's kind of like having Ghost Rider without the fake. Oh wait, they've done that already. Which it's funny because they did that with Robbie Reyes, which is the Ghost Rider with the car. Which that was part of the Haslab that was going to come out, but then they canceled that one. And now we get the Robbie Reyes for the next wave, which is coming out I think around next month or this month. I could be wrong about that statement. Yeah, we get the Rodriguez from that HasLab, but without the other head of Robbie Reyes and no car. So what's going on with that? But whatever. I want to say it's stupid as all hell because you're giving us a figure that's a Ghost Rider basically without the vehicle or the thing that he drives. See what the problem was, and maybe they could do a deluxe version of this character because they give us a horse. Maybe? I'm gonna be honest with you, I would hope so because that'd be kind of cool to give us a deluxe version of this to give us with a horse. Kind of like what they're doing with some of the Joes of they have an animal with it, say like a wolf with snake eyes. And certain ones there's some ones that come with animals like a polar bear, a wolf, and that's actually kind of cool. And those were like deluxe value for like 40 to 60, but it's your Joe's. That is really random sometimes. But that's a topic. I wish you came with a horse, maybe, but you can buy a horse if you want to. Which I don't think they're that expensive, but it depends if you want to buy a horse or not. Tell me what you think. Would you buy this figure for a collection, or if you know someone who likes Ghost Rider or Phantom Rider? Depends on how you want to see it as. Well, I mean, what do you think? I want your honest opinion on see if it's good for your own collection. So missing a horse, though, it kind of sucks, though. Yeah. Let's see what you think, y'all, and I will see you next time.